Happy Friday, Happy New Year, Happy Fridays with Fidelman. I'm Cheryl Fidelman, the Conscious Codependence Coach, and here is my first video of 2023. I'm still sick, but I'm doing it because I wanted to get in here. I haven't seen you guys video-wise in a while. So today's topic is based on the new year, and the topic is codependence and newness. And I'm going to talk about how codependence is old. Our codependent habits, our codependent behaviors, our traumatic identity, the identity that has us be codependent in codependent moments. Like, it's not you, it's not me, it's not your true self, it's not my true self or my true nature. It's regressive, it's old. It's not us at our true current age. So, all right, I'm going to talk about all of that and more, and some spots open in my next program coming up. And all right, codependence and newness, here we go. This video echoes a video that I put out a while ago called Codependence is Regressive, and I'll put a link to that video down below. What I want to focus on, though, excuse me, in this video is codependence and newness. So when it comes to your particular codependent habits and behaviors, and we all have different ones, some of them we share and some of them are unique to your specific unique traumatic identity. What do you want that's new in your life in the area of your codependence recovery or your conscious codependence recovery? In other words, if you notice that with a certain person in certain moments you get hooked into proving yourself, and when you're proving yourself or defending yourself, you're regressing and you feel like a younger version of yourself, what do you want that's new in that area? In other words, with that one person and that trigger in that moment, you want something new, right? Like you want to be able to walk away, or you want to be able to speak to how you're feeling, or you want to be able to catch yourself and stop proving. So what is it in the area of codependence, either with one or more people or one or more things that like consistently trigger you into regressive codependent patterns? What do you want for yourself that's new in those moments? And you can look at, like, what do you feel is just old and stale? Right? Like it's old and stale. Like you feel done with this particular communication pattern with this person. Like you keep getting hooked into this particular kind of conversation, or you keep getting hooked into this particular type of repression for yourself, or you get hooked into a particular kind of silence, or you keep getting hooked into saying things that you don't even mean just because you want the person to forgive you or feel good about you, or you want to preserve your worthiness in their eyes. So you start saying things that you don't even believe or you don't even agree with, and you start to have conviction about things that aren't even really truly sacred for you, that you overlook your own sacred intuition, that you overlook your own sacred truth, just so that you can preserve the peace in somebody else's eyes. So any particular, sorry, I still have this sickness thing that's lasted forever, but I hope all of you are like happy and healthy. And if there's any sickness lingering, just kind of roll it into your life, which is what I've done. I've just kind of rolled it into my life. In any case, what feels old and stale to you? That in the essence of this new year, you could go, I want a new behavior in this area. I want to up-level some codependent patterns. I want to blow the dust off of these like stale parts of myself that are so automatic that when they're happening, there's even sometimes a voice in your head. Like sometimes there's a voice in my head that's going, why are you saying that? Or you don't even believe that. Why are you trying to get this person's attention back when you don't even really want it? It's so automatic. Or there's a voice in my head going, why are you not saying anything? There's actually something you have to say. There's actually a feeling here. There's actually an experience, and I'm acting like I'm not having an experience, right? So what are some old, stale, codependent habits? And they might all be old and stale to you. I don't know, but maybe pick a few where you just like, I cannot tolerate them anymore. And you know that if you upgrade them and replace them with newness, that your own personal evolution and transformation will move forward in a breakthrough kind of way this year. And the newness doesn't just have to be in communication with other people. The newness can be, what kind of newness can you infuse in your communication and your relationship with yourself? Because ultimately, my conscious codependence recovery work is all about your relationship with yourself. The North Star of my work is becoming an independent, sovereign being with boundaries and an open heart. So in the newness, in relationship with yourself, you may have a consistent thought. And this goes to the inner punisher distinction of my work, right? So your inner punisher may be telling you, you can't do that, or this person doesn't like you, or your inner punisher could be negatively interpreting other people or negatively interpreting yourself, or projecting thoughts into other people's minds, or negatively interpreting what other people are saying. So, you can pick one or two of the, just like you're over it. Like you're overthinking this one thought. Like, in some schools of thought, they're called limiting beliefs, right? So pick one or two limiting beliefs, or one or two things that your inner punisher is always like screaming at you. And I talk about this in my work, and I've talked about this in a bunch of my videos, that ultimately it's not about completely silencing the thoughts. In some people's work it is. In my work, it's about actually dissolving belief in the thought. That's the first step to actually the volume of the thought going down. So dissolving belief in the thought. So that can be injecting newness into your relationship with yourself. Like pick one or two thoughts that are so old and so stale that you're just so done with those thoughts. And actually, I'm going to go so far as to say is that it's not the thought that you're done with. It's the belief in the thought that you might be done with. So injecting newness into your relationship with yourself could be injecting non-belief into what your mind is negatively telling you. So it's not the thought that's the problem, it's the belief in the thought that's the problem. So the newness is we're going to replace belief with non-belief in the thoughts that are negatively running your life, that are negatively running your relationship with yourself, that are negatively running your identity. And these negative thoughts are what's keeping your traumatic identity in place. Your traumatic identity is the identity that was developed in your nervous system in order to survive the psychology and reality of your childhood. And one of those thoughts might be something like, when somebody's mad at me, I have to ignore how I feel. Or when somebody's mad at me, I have to try to make them hear me. When what you're doing is you're trying to make them hear you when they are not possibly even hearing themselves when they're speaking. That's a common codependent habit that I also used to have, is I would try to get somebody to hear me that wasn't even hearing themselves when they were speaking. So newness could be noticing when someone's listening and when someone's not. Noticing when you're listening. Noticing what you're listening to. Are you listening to yourself when someone's talking to you? Are you listening to them when someone's talking to you? Are you listening to the interpretations of what they're saying when someone's talking to you? So noticing, listening, and just really replacing belief in negative thoughts can be the newness that you lean into. So replacing belief with non-belief. Okay, so codependence and newness, which is an oxymoron, right? That's the title of this video. Codependence is old. It's an old part of you. It's a regressive part of you. It's a younger version of you. The opposite is newness. The opposite is the adult version of you. The opposite is remaining in an emotional state that matches your current age. that may be the newness for this year for you. So, yeah, that's all I have to say about that. My next phase 1 8-week conscious codependence program, which is called the Listening Workshop. This workshop is based on my theory that perhaps all of our trauma can be found in the filters through which we listen, not just to others, but to ourselves, that all of our relationships with other people and our relationship with ourselves is developed through the filters through which we listen to other people, the filters through which we listen or not listen to our own intuition, the filters through which we listen or not listen to what our intuition and our nervous system is telling us, the filters through which we listen to our cognition. We're going to go over all of this in the 8-week program. In the 8-week group program, it's a small group, I keep all my programs intimate, less than 10 people, and they also include some private sessions. And we're going to align what your mind is telling you with what your body is telling you. Because when those two are saying two different things, this is codependence, this is anxiety, this is when we acquiesce because there's an explosion happening inside of us, and instead of really being with the explosion, we then go be with the other person and handle their world and their reality, because it's easier oftentimes for us to listen to somebody else than for us to listen to ourselves. Okay, thank you so much for listening to my thoughts, theories, and rants. If you're interested in the group program, there's a link below where you can schedule some time with me. And happy healing, happy new year, and life is now. And here's to you meeting new versions of yourself this year.